woke up yesterday morning with a pretty good cold, so you stay home. We don't need you here. Uh, Dan has got a scout thing going on right now. Be back this evening, I'm assuming. Okay. All right. Okay. Sometime later in the day today. Okay. All right. Will it be here tonight? I think it's going to be. Okay. All right. With regard to Jerry Schmidt, I haven't heard anything new. Have you? I called Lewis last night, just short of begging him to call me back with her number. No call back. Um, At their home, they don't answer the phone, but I left a pretty impassioned plea to please call me with Jerry's new number.
Didn't know what
Yeah.
answered, so.
Okay. Is Mrs. Iskey's phone number in the phone book, you think, Billy? We can maybe call Mrs. Iskey? That might be another way to go get about it. You know. Anyway, no news on Jerry other than last time we talked to her, she was feeling much better. And she's. Do you have it? Okay, well, it's surely working on here. Um, okay, that's pretty good. All right. So Troy's not up to snuff today. Janet, a lot of folks traveling. We're hopefully we'll find more about Jerry. Her stay at the nursing slash rehab facility was only limited to 20 days. That's got to be coming up pretty quick, doesn't it? I mean, seems like she's been there at least 14, 15, 16. So I would think by this time next week she'll either be home or something else will have happened, or she'll be moved or something. So we need to get a hold of that young lady, and she makes it hard to get a hold of her. Anyway, what else do I have here? Next Saturday, the Creed Ladies' Day, also in Cortez. Bonnie, Denise's sister, come on in. Going through her radiation. We'll find out how that's going. I've heard it was going fairly well. Pantry item for this month is cereal. For those who haven't heard, Miriam passed her citizenship test on Monday. So she's now officially a new citizen of the country. And she was quite juiced about that. I talked to Eric yesterday. He said, we're all juiced about it, excited, and understandably so. I put it the other way. I can understand her parents back in Germany aren't quite as what's the big deal kind of thing. So I understand where they're coming from. Good morning, Hershey's. I kind of got him on this. Wait. Next Sunday we had the potluck with Creed, the fifth Sunday, and we had an update on Eric. Eric was Dan's friend, 60 years old or so, who had some severe health issues. Over the last year, he's lost 100 pounds due to his condition of the heart, and we have an update which says
he had open heart surgery, and they replaced valves and took out infection, and he came through it okay.
Okay, so we had open heart surgery that came through successfully. How does one lose 100 pounds from? Is that just?
It was an infection, and it ended up that his body wasn't returning oxygenated blood because the valves were malfunctioning because of the infection, and so it just affected his whole body.
Yes. It's unlocked now.
Okay. It's better.
It's
gotta be better.
It's better-ish.
Okay, super. All right. And of course, tonight at 6 o'clock, if you would come back, not just for normal, but we're going to have a little preview screening. We had talked about last Sunday with regard to what we want to do going forward. And one of the things that was mentioned was the Ray Vander Laan series, the Bible series, which we have had 4 or 5 years ago here and there, and it's excellent. We're going to have a little preview tonight at 6 o'clock. Going to tell us why God put Israel where He put them. You know, if you think about all the places that God could have put Israel, the nation, He put them there. And Ray's going to tell us tonight, why that was, and then kind of relate it to us, why God has put us here. That's the blue shirt guy. Yeah. And the funny thing, Tom, the little picture on the front of the DVD, he's got a white shirt on, so I don't know what's up here. The blue shirt guy, if he would, tonight at 6 o'clock. Anything else I'm not aware of? Nothing?
It's in the directory because I don't have it.
Okay. All right, we were going to talk about Jerry Schmidt, how we get a hold of that woman. We're trying hard to get a hold of her. Okay. If nothing else, we're going to impose upon Brother Hershey to lead us in our opening class, opening prayer. You can handle it. All right, thank you.
God, thanks so much for the morning, for sunshine, sunrise, and the beautiful place we get to live in. God, help us to enjoy a few more months of bliss before wintertime comes on. God, I pray a special blessing for Jerry Schmidt and for Dan's friend that had heart surgery. That the physicians that attend to both of them will make good decisions, and mostly to keep Jerry comfortable throughout the rest of her life. God, be with Steve this morning as he gives us a portion of your word, teaches our class, and for everyone that worships here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Thomas. All right. Normally we are discussing the Ten Commandments. That teacher is gone today. You got me. So, we have the infamous one lesson thing. Okay, we got who? We got Philemon, 2nd and 3rd John, maybe even Jonah, one of those bizarre prophets. The Bible's not even up here. We're not going that way. Sometimes you get inspiration from weird circumstances. This week, as I was going through my week, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What book am I going to do? What little book am I going to do? And I passed something that I passed many times before, dozens of times before, and this time it hit me differently. I'm sure you have passed it before. But sometimes you get inspiration from different areas. And this one hit me a little bit differently than it has the other dozens of times that I went by this. What I did, or what this is going to be about, there is a certain place that we have all quite probably driven by for sure, that we've all seen. But this time I saw it differently. I saw it with more open eyes. I saw it more personally. I saw it in a more inspired way, I guess you'd say. Okay, what's he talking about? About 3 miles east of South Fork, near the Ute Bluff Lodge, there is a cross in a field. You've seen it before? Who has not seen that? Okay, with the 2 chairs. Okay, let me try to set the scene for those of you who haven't seen it. You're driving along 160, and on the south side of the road there's a nice grassy field. Trees, it just looks like a nice bucolic scene. But in that field, you look over, and there's about an 8-foot tall cross with 2 small, metal chairs. Yeah, like you have like a power potluck, sitting there right in front of the cross, like 2 or 3 feet away from it, looking right at the cross. And I've driven by things many times before, and you know what it is. But this time when I was coming home from South Fork the other day, it hit me differently. On the way home, I was being very safe, by the way. I put myself in those chairs. And that will change you, and when you actually do that. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, you know I have 0 musical skills. Believe it or not, I have even probably less artistic skills. I've done my best to try to get a picture of what this looks like. Yeah, start laughing right now, Thomas. This is what we got. A beautiful, no, there's not, that's a beautiful field, believe it or not. And there's supposed to be a sunshine up here and birds flying in the air. But there's this big 7-8 foot cross with 2 chairs sitting right in front of it. What I would like to have you indulge me today, as I did mentally when I was going down the road the other day, sit in those chairs with me. And I think it'll change us. What does this scene, this picture, that thing in the field symbolize? We all know, what is it? What is it? What does it symbolize?
Jesus on the cross.
Jesus on the cross. Okay? He died for the world's sins. Okay? That's what it means. Okay. Why are the 2 chairs there? Now, it could just be, we've seen scenes before. In fact, there's one in Groom, Texas, along I-40. That big cross. I know you all have seen it. Have you seen it, Sadie? Yeah. We stopped there before. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a, but there's no chairs there. Okay? They got the gift shop. But the 2 chairs makes this thing distinct and makes it more personable. So it symbolizes Christ's death upon the cross. Okay? Now I am fully convinced of this. The 2 most important events in the world happened within 3 days of each other. This one right here, where Jesus died on the cross, willingly died on the cross. And then 3 days later when he rose. Without those 2 days, we wouldn't be here. Everything that we hold dear would be absolutely worthless. Even the existence of God. Think about that. If Jesus had not rose, would God be who he claims to be? No. We might as well he's not the God of the universe. He's not Yahweh. He's not Jehovah. Couldn't raise his son from the dead. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we all die. So everything that we as Christians hold dear centers upon this day and 3 days later when he rose. So this is extremely important, this scene that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to invite you, mentally of course. I'll take this chair, you take that chair, and we are 2 foot, 3 foot away from that cross, sitting there by ourselves in that beautiful field. What comes to mind? I'll go first. We're sitting there, and that's what really struck me. I mean, I would like to actually sit there. Have you ever seen anybody sitting there before? I haven't either. I think that it is something that would be cool to do. But mentally, put yourself in those seats with that cross in front of you. The first thing I thought
of the cross that is just humbling to us.
Okay. Hold that thought, Shirley. I'm going to come back and ask for your thoughts. I got to humble back there. I'll go first, just to kind of break the ice. It's not New Year's Day, where you make resolutions, but I did make a resolution the other day, a fall resolution. If I'm going to write on the board, let's make it legible. I'm so sorry for you folks to last. That's why I come in early when I have my normal class and put the boards up there nice and neat. But I'm doing it on the spot. I'm going to try my best to make it legible. Number one thing that I thought of was thankfulness and thanksgiving. Similar to what you were thinking. Kind of goes back to why we're here. If it did not happen, we wouldn't be here. Just the thankfulness that somebody put himself in my place on that cross. or however, that's the way that God decided to do it. And just thanksgiving, thankfulness. Number 2, I thought. Why? What did Jesus get out of this? Name me one thing he got out of this. There's not a single thing. I'll be famous. I'll be rich. People will admire me. There's not a single selfish reason he did this. Other than the song, why did my Savior come to earth and to the humble go? Why on the cross be lifted up? Because he loved me so. Why? To me, there's only one reason. Agape love. Not just, not storge love, not phileo love, a little bit of phileo, but mainly just agape. What do these people need? They need me to go up there. Okay. Number 3 to freak me out. I don't know how to word it here. When you're sitting right there, who's there? Jesus. Okay. That's what, when I did that, okay, you're looking and there is Jesus up there. And what's Jesus doing? He's looking down at you. I thought, can I? If he's looking down at me, and I'm looking down at him, can I honestly look him in the eye? And if you were physically there, could you look Jesus in the eye when he's looking down at you? Knowing full well what? This is what the part that I don't know if I could do it. He's up there because of me. What do you say? What do you do? It just seems like I'm sorry wouldn't be enough. What's the 3 I thought of? Thankfulness. Why have you done this? And can I really, when he's looking down at me, can I honestly look him in the eye, knowing full well why he's up there?
I know that there's lousy parents, so this doesn't pertain to them. But those of us that would give our life for our child, and we would if we needed to, that's the biggest comparison. And I think that's why God formed the family, because that's the closest love that we can compare to Jesus.
The love he has for us? Good point. The familiar love that we have for our family members, especially our children. Well, we are called God's children. He's our Father. That's saying that family type theme to go in there, yeah. Exactly correct. Okay. You're sitting next to me. I got the ball rolling, hopefully. You want to talk? Okay. Be more specific, please.
I don't think talk.
You want to ask him something? You want to? What would you say? To me, I don't know if I could say anything. But there's a reason I don't want to watch The Passion of the Christ with Mel Gibson. I don't want to watch that. I mean, I know what happened, but do I want to see it? I don't. Go ahead.
Because you're sitting there and you're so close to him and you just want to talk to him. You got the Bible, but you could just talk to him. Like you do in your prayers. Mm-hmm. I think that's where I'm coming from, is you want to just talk to him, I mean, he already knows what you're going to say, but you just want to talk to him.
You know what you're going to say, but just, he probably would get the ball rolling for you, okay?
Yeah, I don't think you can go there without praying.
Without praying at the cross?
Right there.
Okay, so Thomas said, talk and pray. I'm going to put those together. They're the same thing. Praying is just talking to God.
Sure, that's the same thing I thought while I was sitting here, that I couldn't go there without prayed for a while.
Okay.
There is a trail out there.
Oh, so you just jump the fence and go over. There's a way to get there.
No, there's, people jump the fence and go.
Okay.
And there's a beaten trail out there
Okay.
most
So
of the
people
year.
have done this.
Oh, yeah,
It
they
looks
get,
like they have.
I've
Good.
never seen them out there, but they go out there.
Good. All right, Amber, it's up to you.
I don't wanna cry this morning.
Just write it down and I'll say it. What are you thinking? What would you do? What would you say? What would you do? You're sitting next to me. We'll come back. Shirley, you missing humble? You be humbled by it? Okay. Be more specific. What would be the? Go ahead. Expand upon it.
Well, not just sitting in the chairs, but you could fall prostrate and humble yourself to remember what a lousy creature I am, and this Jesus paid the price for that. So
Okay,
get up and get out and start living the way He would have us live, His example.
So it'd be humbling and you'd be thankful to, you'd want to somewhat repay him.
Motivated.
Motivated, okay.
Motivated to do better. Of course, you're never going to be perfect. No one.
Okay.
That's the trying. Get
Hope and joy.
Good job.
We'll do hope first. Hope in that you have hope of people use hope, I think, too nebulously. Assurance. That you have the assurance from God that you have a better life coming. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Steve, there's this evil force in the world, and I don't know how many heard the comment, because I don't watch TV, but when I'm in the kitchen and I hear something like this, but there was some of those people on the Grammy Awards that were, putting down religion. And one comment was, you white people think too much about the word Jesus. I mean, if that doesn't make you stop and think what terrible force we have to fight in this world, I don't know what would.
I feel sorry for people that age right there. I honestly, I'll be pessimistic. I want to lose hope. But our grandkids see them every day, when they turn 40, 50, 60, I know, Ted, but it just seems different, Thomas. It really does. But I'm sure it's going to be fine, but you kind of wonder how it's going to be. But yeah, I was, this is how weird it's gotten. Let's see, 9 News. I just passed, beeping the little thing there, and 9 News is on. I stopped for a second because it looked different. And, sometimes they have the human interest stories, usually they're about some stupid dog or, you know what I'm talking about. The dog who went away and he came back, but I like dogs. But this one, it was a good 5-6 minutes. You know how these human interest stories are. And they were glorifying the lady who created the Ouija board. I guess she didn't have a grave site, so they made her one, and all the people there were just saying how wonderful she was. Now, I'm mistaken, isn't the Ouija board kind of a satanic type thing? They were glorifying, 9 News is glorifying this particular woman because she created the Ouija board, and they just thought that was just the greatest thing in the world. Oh, wow, I think that's what I think it is. I don't think that's something you glorify. But yes, go along with your point there. Where was I? Hope and joy. Okay. Leonard, you're sitting next to me. What are you thinking?
A lot of things.
A lot of things? Give me one.
Well, I'm so thankful
Thankful?
that he sent my wife to me. That's where my life changed, is when I met my wife. And he did that through a unique way. And I would certainly thank him personally for that. It was the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Rule may not be a good word, but how Jesus interacts in our life, how God interacts in our life, brings things together for us. And the older you get, the more you realize how the things are meshing for you. When you're 20, you have the foggiest idea. You think you know everything, but you are stuck so far in the foggy valley, you have the foggiest idea. By the time you get to be 50, 60, 70, and above, you're rising a little bit above into the clouds, maybe getting a little bit better view of what things are like. And you see how God has, He has done for you, and how He has worked things out for you.
Miles apart
Exactly.
when I first met her, in a letter.
Your parents same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, how God works in our life, rules in our life. All things work together for good to go those who love the Lord. Sadie, what do you think?
I'd have to beg forgiveness first.
Forgiveness?
And yes, and then thankfulness, I think.
Okay, that's why I always grab the first one because that's the obvious one. Yeah. We're just very thankful for what He's done.
Right.
Because He has forgiven us.
I would just feel humbled.
Humble, okay. Yeah. And it's hard to get away from that one there. Thankfulness and humility. Because someone has done something for you that you couldn't have done. I mean, first off, let's say Thomas, he's just I'll do this. Why couldn't you have done it, Tom? Why wouldn't have your perfect blood? You have perfect blood flowing through you right now?
When you're in business, you have to do some tough things. And you fret about them for a while. But there is nothing like that. And usually when you rip the Band-Aid off, it's better.
Okay.
But just the thought of pulling the Band-Aid off, or the enduring the pain, and is too much. So, no, if you had a week or a month to know what was coming, no, nobody's going to do that.
Well, the point that I was shooting for, Tom, was not just you doing it, but cool as guy she is. We all agree Tom's cool. You're not perfect.
That's right.
She's far from perfect, sounds like to me. Anyway, no matter who we are,
Anybody in this world who's ever lived, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Only one person could have done what He did, and that was the Christ. Okay.
You know, you could think about means of that, because it's a lot easier when you have a fellow, like Leonard said, you know, a partner,
Okay.
or a fellow brother, or someone that we can all pray for, or go to the cross for.
No, I-
Because we can go to the cross for our brothers, you
Okay.
know.
I know what you're saying, yeah. Bear the cross for our fellow Christian, yeah.
You wonder if our forefathers of our church erred so far from the Catholicism that we took crosses out of our church. That could be the same way it got started back then. Maybe somebody put a cross outside of town, and then they decided, you know, we should put one at our church that you could come up and sit in front of. And of course, I know that our forefathers of our church that we worship in, distinguished themselves from Catholicism That's how you make sales, is we're different, we're better.
Okay, and yeah, sometimes I agree, Tom, that we as a brotherhood get a little
Hung up on certain things. That's one of them.
So just like that cross strikes you when you're driving down the road, maybe that's where they started putting crosses in buildings.
We don't even put pictures of Jesus up, you know.
Well, we don't have a
Even in the
picture of
classroom.
Jesus, but
Yeah.
we've got a cross.
I know what you're saying. I agree with you to that. Sometimes we get a little touchy on that, and
Stuff
you can go overboard like some folks have. And
Sure.
I agree with it.
I'm not recommending that we hang one up next week, but just like that little, and yes, I've seen that cross for 20 years out there. And I never have stopped, but I guess next time I'm going by, I'll let you know what's over there.
Give it a try, Tom.
I'll make the trek and I'll tell you what I said.
Please do. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go. I drive by it again this week, a couple times. So, let's summarize.
Anybody else want to say anything else before we? Haven't heard any from young people yet. Okay, thank you. Yeah, got earphones on. Sometimes this world, not sometimes, we talked about today, this world is a crazy place. And sometimes that world infringes upon your life and you get sucked into it. And it helps me, and I would encourage you, when that happens, take one of those seats. It will change you sitting at the foot of the cross. You have no choice. If you sit at the foot of the cross, legitimately, honestly, it will change you and bring things back into line. The world's going crazy, your life's going crazy. Remember where you have come from. Number 2. I don't know who put that cross up there. I assume I have no idea. It's near Ute Bluff Lodge. Maybe they've done it. I would highly encourage them, don't take it down. Leave it up. Same way the folks in Groom, Texas. Leave that big old thing up. And number 2, leave our seats there. Putting those seats there makes it a whole different game to me. Got the cross, no problem. You put 2 seats there, 3 seats, whatever it is. Put some seats there where you can sit there at the foot of the cross where your life can change. So I don't know who did this, but don't change a thing, please. Sometimes the seats are knocked over. I've seen that before. But somebody always puts them back up. And that's why one knocks them over. Anyway, just my thoughts today. That struck me differently the other day when I drove by, and I hope it helps you. Take a seat at the cross when things get crazy. Questions, comments? We can wrap it up here. All right. Next week, Crawford will be back for the 10 Commandments. I think we're still on number 1, I think, or somewhere close in there, yeah. He's going to milk this for 6 months. You watch. Which is good. That means Dan has more time to prepare for his class. Okay. Thank you so much.